also going to be asking them what are their thoughts on the Second Amendment.
My name is Jake, and what I think it means to be an American is taking advantage of your constitutional rights.
Hi, my name is Chris, and the constitutional right we're going to be focusing on today is the Second Amendment, which is the right to bear arms.
And I'm just here to ask him some questions about what he thinks it's like to be an American and what he thinks about the Second Amendment. So what do you think about what it is to be an American?
Well, it's a privilege, and I think everybody should sacrifice whatever they need to sacrifice in order to maintain our freedom as an American. I was a Vietnam veteran, as you know, and back during that war, everybody was drafted.
Yeah.
I wasn't drafted, I joined. I was patriotic then when I was 19, and I'm patriotic now, and I'm 69.
Yeah.
It's a privilege, like I said, and if you don't respect being American, I don't believe you should be here.
I agree with that as well. So what do you think about the Second Amendment?
The Second Amendment, the right to bear arms. Well, I think everybody should bear arms. It's our God-given right. It's our constitutional right. And for an example, if I don't know if you want to get political or not, but if the liberals continue working on taking away our weapons, only thugs and illegals will have weapons.
Yeah.
So we all should be armed. I firmly believe that if we're all armed, there'll be a lot less killings that occur. So, and sure, you can talk about assault weapons, but now, as you know, they're doing it with 9mm. They're doing it with 45s. So now they're going to say, well, now let's take away the 9mm and let's take away the 45s.
Yeah.
And when that happens, you're going to have chaos. And unfortunately, I feel that eventually that will happen.
Yeah.
But everybody needs to bear arms.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Establishment. You see, for too long in Washington, D.C., the individual hasn't mattered. If you're not part of a special interest group or if you don't have a powerful lobby behind you, you can't get a seat at the table to participate in important discussions. But I took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. And the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen, does not come a la carte. It's all inclusive. It grants rights to the citizens, inalienable rights endowed by the Creator, not granted by inclusion in some group or cause. And when we start down the road of picking apart the Constitution to fit a certain political agenda, my friends, we are headed toward a very dark place in government called tyranny. What's interesting is that many of these attacks on the Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms are a pretty recent phenomena. For most of our nearly 240-year history as a constitutional republic, the right to keep and bear arms was never seriously questioned. It has only been in the last 30 or 40 years that this inalienable right has been challenged. In 1775, here in the New World, a group of renegades we call the Founding Fathers understood the threat posed by a strong centralized government. So they created this idea of self-rule around a document that strictly limits the power of government, one that places the power with the people, the individual, and the states.
When thinking back to the civil rights movement, thinking about this movement, there's a lot of things you could compare and a lot of things you can't compare. Obviously there was a huge, back in the day, the civil rights movement, it was literally fighting for their lives, fighting for their freedom, fighting to live in a country where they called their home, but it didn't feel as such. And, their movement came from a lot of passion, came from a lot of hate and institutionalized racism, and this movement, thanks to those activists and those civil rights leaders back in the day, we're in a better place that, we wouldn't have been if they hadn't done the work they had. And now we're fighting against gun violence, which affects each community all around the world, but proportionally does affect Black and brown communities the most. And taking away all the lessons from their movement and the strategies that they use and implementing it into the strategies that we use today to get people's attention, to use the media to, put a spotlight on the issues that go under the dark, the killings that go unnoticed in Black and brown communities, suicides, the killings in the LGBTQ communities, and putting a shine to those killings and making sure that America knows what's going on in this country is what this movement is about. And it's just about bringing the issues to the forefront and making sure that Americans are talking about it and that people are talking about it. And once you spark that debate, you start to see a country mobilize behind it, and you start to see change behind it too.